listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond. Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 255, Glenn Hughes From Now On, Part 2. And coming to you from the tech support suburbs of Chicago, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Kit Peak Matola.
Hit peak. So I'm going to guess that that is the highest point of a certain state. And we've done what? Alabama, Alaska.
Yeah.
Arkansas?
Oh, that's next. This one's Arizona. You were. Hey, good guess though. Good guess.
Is it the highest point in Arizona?
No, the world's largest solar telescope is located at Kit Peak National Observatory.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe it could be a high point because it's an observatory, but
What better way to observe?
Yeah, there you go. Fact of the day.
The fact of so in a mere year's time, we will have gone through all 50 states.
That was my thing.
That was your thing, yes. Well, with the new computer is still, I transferred 1.3 million files onto this external hard drive last night.
Oh my goodness.
Not all of them show related. It's basically like a combination of all the different sounds and everything I've collected over the many years. So my second hard drive, after we're done with this episode, I'm going to export everything, and then I'm going to put everything else on this hard drive and then transfer it to the computer that I'm still working on upstairs, which is still having a problem that I'm very annoyed with, in that it's like the audio is kind of stuttering and skipping. So I'm trying to get in touch with support for my audio device, but it's President's Day as we record this, and I think their tech support office is closed today, so I couldn't reach them on Friday or Saturday or Sunday or today. So, and tomorrow I'm working, so that day is pretty much out of the running. So, hopefully, I'll get it resolved soon.
You are more patient than I, my friend.
Well, I'm patient because I've got a functioning audio computer, and the whole idea was to do this while we still have a functioning audio computer, so that if something had to happen, we wouldn't be just not recording the show for 3 weeks.
Yeah, true.
Everything's ready to go. So once it's fully operational, which should be pretty quick after I figured out that one glitch and problem I'm having, then we should have it. Maybe this might be the last episode recorded on the old computer. We'll see if everything goes according to plan.
Okay. Hey-oh.
We'll see. All right. So, hey, folks, if you want to support our show, you can do so a number of ways. One is by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. You can buy some merch at our Etsy store. You can also become a patron on Patreon or on PayPal for as little as $1 a month. Our show is 100% listener supported and ad-free. So if you receive value from our show, consider giving us some value back. You can do that by becoming a patron of the show, and that gains you access to our patrons-only Discord and our ratings spreadsheet. You can also donate on Cash App at $DPPOD or support us on Ko-fi. Right. So last week we reviewed the first half of the Glenn Hughes album, and I told you about my experience going to see Glenn Hughes in St. Charles, Illinois, the pickle capital of the world. And since then, you have gone to see Glenn Hughes. Anything to report?
Probably nothing you didn't see,
a lot of people I didn't see.
or hear about. Yeah, exactly.
I was kind of getting the live text updates.
The blow by blows. Yeah, so I'll try to be as as brief as we can be on this podcast, meaning that this will be a short one. And it won't. After our episode last week, I hopped in the car and went over to Rich's, and then Rich and I headed up like mid-afternoon to New Hampshire, and we picked up his buddy Kevin, who lives up there, and then we went to a comic book store that was in the area, kind of small, like a comic book Like I don't know what they call. I mean, I don't know what it's a comic book store. I don't know what they call them now, but it's kind of those kind of small stores that they got set up.
And they sell
Up,
like Funko Pops.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like a pop culture type store. I don't know what you really call it these days because they had everything from um, an autographed picture of Scott Farkas that I took a picture of Rich holding up to a Chucky doll to sports jerseys and
Oh
action
yeah, yeah.
figures, and it was one of those. It's a fun little place, but we didn't spend too long in there. And the Gardot and the Roback were en route, and so we met them in. We met them at a record store, which was in a little further ways down, and we had our reunion, our meetup there, to which I picked up a piece of Deep Purple related merch. I'll
Ooh, let's
show
see
you
it.
right now, which Rich actually found because, of course, we all went to the D first for Deep
Oh,
Purple.
heyo.
Hey, oh, but anyway, so Rich
Oh, you
found
did get
this.
it. Nice.
Yeah, so it's and it's a beautiful vinyl copy of Perfect Strangers here with um the shrink wrap on it and the hype sticker and the original like strawberries sticker on it,
Yeah.
which that was the part like Rich really was into the hype sticker. He thought that was
Yeah,
cool.
the
I mean,
destiny brought them together. Yeah,
yeah,
it was pretty cool.
but I don't know if he opened it up and looked inside, but this was the part that really had me impressed is look at the condition of
Oh
this
yeah.
sleeve. This is like absolute perfect
Perfect.
condition.
Yeah.
I mean, not a scratch on it. So, and it was only like $12,
Yeah, that's a steal.
which, I mean, to me, I would rather have, I mean, I know that this is probably in heavy rotation, not a very rare record, but if I'm going to pick something up that I really want, I would rather that, whether be it, an expensive collectible or not, is that it be in really good shape. To me, that's worth more than getting the holy grail like $400 record, but it's got notches and stuff all
Yeah.
over it. But anyways, yeah, we headed out to dinner where we met patron and friend Steve Colwell and
Hmm.
friend, and we had something to eat. Went over to the venue, and we saw we immediately ran into the lead singer from Stormbringer, the
Oh
Deep Purple
yes.
tribute band. Um, and super nice. We're chatting with him for a while and other people. We missed Bad Marriage. And
Okay. Right.
it wasn't really on purpose. We were just they were already playing and we just like had went to grab some drinks and we were in the lobby area and we're just kind of talking and we're just kind of doing that thing. So we're like, we saw Chip manning the merch stand. So
Yeah. Yep. Well,
anyways,
the Bad Marriage and Enough's Enough sets when I saw, I'm sure it was the same thing when you saw them. They were pretty short, like 30, 40 minutes. And
yeah. And I mean, yeah, unfortunately had to miss them, but it's all right. So then you alerted us that Ashley Still I Hear Burn Rose was in attendance.
that's right.
So we immediately found her and she was like blown away, like um and we met up with her and chatted with her for a while, like at the seats. I handed out a few business cards. She had me sign her business card, and
Oh,
I think eyeliner or something like that. She gave me
with eyeliner.
like a makeup pen or something, and I signed. I gave her an autograph. So it was pretty cool. And we met her boyfriend as well. Both really nice people.
Awesome.
And they were actually a couple of rows in front of us. So we were all me and Rich were kind of like in the middle, and then Gardot and everybody else was behind us, and then they were a couple of rows in front, so we're all in the same section.
Oh,
So it
that's cool. You
really,
guys were just happened to be in the same area.
yeah, we're all very close together.
Got a great picture of the whole group of you. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was between, I think it was right before Enough's Enough went on, or I can't remember what point, but we grabbed it at some point before Glenn. Um, so nobody wants to hear about Enough's Enough, but it was it was
Nobody
it
does.
was well, I mean, what are we here for, right? We're here to
That's true.
for Hughesy. But my short version is that I really felt disappointed because they were very obviously running tracks,
Yeah.
and I don't know like how you felt about it, but it really made me feel the same way as when I saw the Wasp show like the
Yeah.
year before. Was is like it doesn't scare me to death like Eddie Trunk, but
You weren't scared out of your skin.
no, but I mean when I had a very like the Wasp show like the other that I went to unknowingly with Steve Colwell
Yes, right.
that we went to together, but we didn't know it. I didn't have as good of a view. This one I had like a front on view, and it's a different experience when you just know that it's not all a live show. It's for some reason it was just really not that enjoyable
Okay.
for me. I guess for whatever reason I can't explain. It's not for these ethical reasons or I have some big soapbox like Eddie Trunk or anything like that. It's just like personally I get the people that don't enjoy it as much for that reason, you know. Um, so what are you gonna do? Then yeah, Hughes came on. He did all the regulars. He did his
Mhm.
shtick, you know, great as usual. I have to say that he I don't know about the other night, but was he dropping F bombs because he was swearing?
Really?
Yeah,
No.
he was saying the F word. Which I was just like, he's like, I'm so fucking grateful. And we're just like, wait a minute, does he usually do that?
No, I
Like,
don't I don't think he
no, he
was.
was
Yeah, I
dropping
mean
a bunch,
he's
dropping
not
it.
opposed to it, but
No, I mean, but I mean, it was just like, you know, usually he's all, you know, peace and love and I love you all. And he was doing that, but while saying the F word.
maybe he had a phone call with Bruce Dickinson before the show, so it just kind of,
I
sometimes when
love
you're
you
hanging
all,
around with the wrong
motherfuckers.
crowd, it's
I love all you motherfuckers. Um, But yeah, no, I mean he wasn't mad or anything. He was like you know, he was good. I there were a couple of things that was like I have to say that and I'll never say that Hughes had a bad show because, you know, it was always a great show, but I don't think he was 100% that night. And Rich
yeah.
told me it was maybe it was because of the venue or vantage points or whatever, but first of all, he didn't do Highway Star. He skipped it.
Really?
Yeah, he came out and did the encore. They just did Burn, and
Okay.
by the end of the show, it was really slight. But a couple of times his voice cracked,
Oh man,
and
maybe he's starting to get sick.
and he didn't like he didn't sing all the lines. You know, I mean, like he was still hitting the notes and he was still
Yeah.
giving his all, but I could tell that he wasn't doing like all the vocal lines. And I mean, it could have been an off night for him. You know, he could have been like, all right, I ain't hitting Star Highway Star tonight, so I got to take it easy.
Hmm.
And I mean, you know, that's his age, right?
Yeah.
But it was I guess it was kind of like it took me back a little bit because I was like, oh, you know, I mean, he like gave 100% as he always does, but it was just it was kind of it was kind of odd to see him on what I felt was like a little bit of an off night.
Yeah, well, yeah, he never you never really see a crack in the armor. For when I saw
Mm,
him, I think it was I mean, it was what 6 days before you did. So I mean,
yeah.
he was on top of his game vocally, and
Mm,
his bass playing was the best I've ever heard him play. So maybe I am just getting over a day yesterday where I was just asleep and on the couch all day. I felt horrible, and you could probably still
yeah.
hear it in my voice a little bit, but maybe he got a little bit of a cold and it just kind of slowed him down a little bit. I know I'm lying on the couch and this guy's gets the same cold and is probably
Yeah.
up on stage trying to perform at his age, so it could have been
Yeah.
just something like that.
But I mean, that being said, still a great time, still a great show. We met Soren after the show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he was out in the out in like the lobby after we went out there. We you know, we're talking to him for a minute. I gave him one of our cards and he posed for a picture with me holding up one of our podcast business cards.
Oh, nice.
Very cool. And yeah, that was it. I mean, you know, a great time was had by all, and um, you know, we were just a lot of it is the, you know, is the hang, the show. I mean, we always say it's about the hang too. So it's like we were like happy to get up there early and hang out with everybody. I got an unexpected birthday grab bag from the Gardeau and the Roback. So I got
Oh
this
no.
I got this little "Let's Party" birthday card, which I don't know if you say "Best wishes as you celebrate your special day," which he wrote in "Happy birthday,
Yeah.
motherfucker."
Well, he X'd out the
Yes, he X'd it out, so he Bruce Dickinson the card for me.
Bruce
Um,
Dickinson.
I also got, like, the day after, I also got this beautiful postcard from the Edge.
It's like a little like girl holding a wreath or something.
Yeah, it's like a little cherub holding a birthday bouquet with a little poem on the front. And it's John, here's a birthday greeting for you. Pete, see you Friday. And then I got it Saturday.
There you go.
So and then I got a little gift bag, which it was a very eclectic gift bag, as you can imagine,
Yes.
being from the Gardeau. So I got a he gave
Was
me
there a
he gave me like
Caldor
a
flyer in it?
no, actually there was like a camping flyer that he picked up at a rest stop because he's like, "You like camping, don't you?" I said, "I like glamping."
Glamping.
I like to hike and then go back to the 4-star hotel.
Yes, exactly.
And a little like a straw was it like a watermelon scented a watermelon scented candle
Very
and
eclectic.
a humongous jar of Stu Leonard's pasta sauce.
Ooh, that's a nice one. Nice
Yes.
find.
Um,
Connecticut institution.
yes. So and I thank the Gardeau and the Roback for that. Um, very thoughtful. But yeah, so that was the experience there. Couldn't have had a better time. You know, it's always a great time to meet up with everybody. I would say, like, not oddly enough, because we were all within like 2 hours of being at home, but oddly enough, nobody stayed up there. I thought for sure that maybe
Yeah.
Gardeau and Roback would, just because they got a little bit longer of a trip.
Yeah,
But
they must be at least what, 3 hours, right?
um, I think so. Maybe a little less, but you know,
Yeah.
they went back. We all went back afterwards, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Yeah.
Well, hey, before we move on to the next part, we would like to thank some of our patrons. At the executive level, coming in at the in memoriam tier, the wonderful late Gerald Jerry Kelly and family. At the $25 uncommon man tier, we have Ovis Knockfeet and Purple Maniac. At the 15 squid tier, we have Alan. At the 10-pound good doctor tier, we have Dr. Mike Catan. At the turn it up to $11 tier, Clay Wambacher, Frank Fieldgard Mortensen, Mikkel Steen, Will Porter, PhD PP, and Michael Bagford. And at the $10 someone came tier, Ryan M, Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans, and Peter from Illinois. And of course, at the Hughes Oween by 2033 tier, we have Fielding Fowler.
What the hell was that?
It's a new one. I incorporated Glenn's, especially for today's episode, incorporated his live screaming to bring the Halloween theme even more to the front.
Now, is that from your show or?
No, it's actually from Burning Japan Live, where he's doing the title track of the album we're reviewing or finishing up reviewing today. So
yeah.
And whenever it's one of those well, I'll get to it when we get to that song. But speaking of live shows that John just talked about, on the Vi Satriani tour is coming to Chicago. I will be there April 18th with an undisclosed number of folks. So if anybody wants to meet up at that show, let me know. First time seeing them live, so I'm super excited about that. And then one more thing before we get right back into the album where we left off last week. And of course, that one thing that we need to do is... That's right, folks. Postcards from the Edge of Connecticut.
No, I should have waited.
Oh, why?
Well, because I showed my postcard before.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay.
Well, you know what? After you show yours, I'll read the poem that's on the front of this. How about that?
Well,
the birthday poem.
Okay, you can read the poem. Mine is not even a postcard, and I can't. Well, you know what? He put the address on one side, and they put the address on the other side. It's a package, so I'm going to I can't show it on the camera because it's got addresses on both sides. So I'm going to open it up.
All right, so it's a package from the edge.
A package from the edge, yes. Need some scissors here. And then I'm gonna see what's in here. When you said eclectic mix, I was looking at this package thinking, and now I'm looking inside of it thinking, yeah, that could be a little grab bag here. We might not have enough music to play this out. I see where he's going already. The first thing is an old IDE cable.
Okay.
I think he's sending us supplies for the new studio computer. Unfortunately, no IDE drives in that device. Here's a package of hard drive screws and a little cover for the motherboard. This I'm guessing these are from computers from the mid to late 90s. There's a driver diskette to install a like a sound card on like an old hard drive install utility for a Maxtor hard drive. Oh my goodness. And there's a oh man, it's really jammed in there. It's cutting through the package. I'll have to get that one last. This is a cable that typically runs from like the power from the motherboard to the power supply, probably for like the sound or something. Oh, more diskettes.
Diskettes.
Beavis and Butthead icons and wallpaper, and Beavis and Butthead waves.
Waves. Wow.
I'm gonna have to see if I can get those working. It
Wow.
says, "What can we say? These are cool. Check them out." It says, "Modern Microware, New Windsor, New York." Okay. Wow, there's lots of stuff in here. Ooh, Rolling Stone rock trivia. Match the boringly. Here we go. So it says, match the boringly named not all that handsome artist with the 70s hit that made them famous. Oh, okay. Well, I'll read the answer. Alan O'Day's Undercover Angel, Loudon Wainwright III's Dead Skunk, Dean Friedman's Ariel, Andrew Gould's Lonely Boy, and Jay Ferguson's Thunder Island. We have here. Oh, now here's the note. And this is just from a few days ago. It says, Nate, now here are some computer bits for you as you put together the new DPP computer. Enjoy, Peter. So,
wow.
We've got.
You know that's like a cup of water out of the ocean from his friggin' attic.
Oh God, yeah. Don't encourage him. He'll send more. Oh, there's another disc. Oh, it's just a blank diskette with one of the little stickers, and these are 3 1/4-inch diskettes.
Wow.
And then you've got a 5.5. Or I'm sorry, these are 3.5-inch, and this is a 5 1/4-inch floppy. It says, updated PCVT April 87 and other stuff.
Wow.
Those some files from April of 1987 on
wow.
this floppy disk here.
Wow, that's an OG floppy disk.
Yeah. He didn't have any 8-inch floppy disks, I guess, to put in there. Wow. Thank you, Peter. I'm gonna make sure these all go into the new computer. I'm just gonna open it up the side of the computer, just toss all the stuff in there. They don't connect. Yeah, I don't think you can get a motherboard that has IDE anymore. So, well, thank you, Pete. I'll make sure that stuff is all filed appropriately. All right. Do you want to read your poem, and then we can?
No, I'll read my poem. Hang on, I have to.
I love the little cherub, the cherub girl, and the little wreath or whatever she's holding.
So it goes, as your life flows on along its way, through shady lanes and fragrant bowers, may happiness be yours. May your path be strewn with brightest flowers.
There you go. I was gonna say, yeah, you don't throw a word in like Bowers that early to not end it with flowers.
Unless you're talking about Angela Bowers.
Exactly. Hey-o.
Hey-yo, hey-o-ay. Oh, hey, hey-yo.
I think our Tony Maselli impressions have gotten worse. A little too gravelly.
Maybe I should have read this like Tony Maselli. Through shady lanes and fragrant bowers.
Fragrant bowers. Oh, Angela.
Oh, fragrant bowers. Oh, Mona. Yeah, her
Okay.
bowers are pretty fragrant. So I've heard. So I've heard.
Her bowers are pretty. Oh. Okay, so where we left you off last week was on the track Into the Void. Oh, I don't have our spreadsheet open yet, do I? Or do I? Oh, I do have it open. Sweet. Okay. So we left you off with you can check out last week's Into the Void review. And the next track up is called You Were Always There. And this is like we kind of teased last week. This is one of two Hughes Thrall songs that got included in this album that was not released originally with Hughes Thrall. So here we go. We'll kick it right into You Were Always There. Sounds like they used the same synths they had for the Hughes Thrall album, though.
Wow. If I close my eyes, I can picture Carl Weathers doing one-handed push-ups.
So apparently these two songs, I think both of the Hughes Thrall songs have demos that are out there.
All right, so
With Hughes Thrall.
so from what you said last week, what I'm getting here is like side one was all new material for the time. This side two was all older material / demos.
Yeah, not necessarily on purpose because there weren't really sides. It's just on a CD. But yeah, it seems like the first half were like that. But I think there's a couple. I think there's one or two newer songs on this side. But this side is mostly recovered or redone material. I like that little groove.
Yeah, I mean it's like it's an 80s sounding pop song.
Yeah. But like with much of the other album, this came out in '94.
Yeah.
So I think as we talked about last week, a little,
A little late to the party.
a little bit. But again, he's still in catch-up mode, right? He's been out of it for a little while. He did the LA Blues Authority, and now he's getting into the thing. And Hughesy kind of did his own thing anyway, so. Little guitar swells there. It sounds like the guitar is just low in the mix for a solo.
Yeah.
And those keyboards sound very much like the Nintendo 64 soundtrack. Like they're really making me think I'm playing Wave Race 64 or something.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like,
And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like that
yeah.
that game had some funky songs. In fact, me and Paul did we took like the Nintendo 64 Wave Race song that like plays after you do a level, and we just recorded it, and then we did like traded off bass solos and guitar solos over it for like 8 minutes. It was like one of the dumbest things we ever did.
Mm.
Sorry, I think I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
Nah, I can wait now. I can wait till I rate the song.
That's true. It's almost over. All right. Always there. Was it? Oh, no, you were always there. That's the name of the song.
We're
John.
like always there to remind me.
Yeah, nobody was there to remind me what the name of the song was.
Oh,
All right, John, what do you think of that one?
um, I'll give it a 2.
Really? That's your lowest rating so far on the album.
Yeah, I mean, it's not awful. It's just like I was gonna say before, it's just I think that this is not on the right album.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. I think that there's like a time and a place for re-recording or re-releasing old songs in like a certain vein, you know, like you said this was an old Hughes Thrall song.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe shouldn't have been on this album. Um I mean, it sounded like something straight out of like the mid 80s, which is fine, but yeah, not for 94, not with this album cover and everything else. Like I think now I remember why I wasn't really crazy about this album is because it just didn't really have a tone
Mm-hmm.
set to it. So I mean, I would say that's like a little below the halfway mark. It wasn't even like particularly an interesting 80s sounding song in my opinion.
All right, I'll give it a 2.5 for the same reasons. I think it's yeah, it makes you wonder why are we digging like was he digging up some of these old songs to just fill it up? But again, like 20 years earlier, a 7-track song or 7-track album would have been fine, but now here we are adding 7 additional tracks to it. So,
Yeah.
um, and I know that was kind of the style of the CD era, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, the production on the album in general I'm not crazy about so far, just as far as it just feels thin. And yeah, like this album, if done at the time with Hughes Thrall, maybe would have had a little more oomph behind it. But yeah, it's
Maybe, yeah.
not a bad song. Just doesn't go
No.
anywhere particularly crazy. The next track up is "If You Don't Want Me to," Allison's song. So Allison's song is in parentheses. This one, um, where is it?
Yeah,
This one
what's the deal with
features.
this one?
What's the deal with this one? This one is trying to find it here. This one is written by Hughes, Jens Johansson, and Pierce Staden, and has got guest vocals by I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Maya, who is a Swedish singer and composer. Um, so she's had kind of she's done a duet with Ricky Martin, and
Hmm.
she was nominated for a Grammy Award in 1998. So, yeah, I don't know how you pronounce again her name, but let's take a listen. This would have been fairly early on in her career. It seems like she's been active from 92 to present, so this was early on in her career. So, yeah, let's take a listen to "If You Don't Want Me to," Allison's song. And who is Allison?
To feel your warm embrace ever so tenderly, and oh baby, there's no time for hatred, there's no time for war.
Is that her doing the?
That'd be funny. It's just like, yeah, we got this prolific Swedish singer on here just to go.
It could be her, it could be a keyboard, I'm not sure.
Yeah, kind of a nice ballad.
It, again, weird connection that I'd never think I would make again, but reminding me of like a Lenny Kravitz. Like he has got these kind of like sexy minimalist slow songs like this on his albums. You know that song? I want to be, won't you be my baby, baby? That's you know that song.
Yeah, I haven't thought
reminds
about
me
that
of that
song in years.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where he just breaks down after like some rock stuff and does like something super minimalist with just like a simple drum beat, a synth pad, and him singing.
I'm telling you, Hughes Kravitz, lost opportunity.
Hughes Kravitz would have been great. HKP, Hughes Kravitz Project.
Oh, trying to think. Yeah, imagine that. Like Lenny there with these big super fly glasses and a friggin' Afghan around his neck. Hughes wearing his peace and love beads and his flowy blouse and everything.
That'd be incredible.
Man, those guys together, just the photo shoot alone would be wild.
They don't even need to make any music. I just deal with the photos.
Yeah, you know what? Screw them. You just get them in the same room together. Photoshop some pictures of them together at least. Yeah, so I mean, this is actually very pleasant. It's a nice ballad, but it just it doesn't seem to be going anyplace. Well, except for this guitar solo now.
Yeah, but it's just got the same groove like the whole time. There's no real like chorus.
Yeah,
but I don't think you need it. I think it's about chilling out and
yeah, nothing wrong with that.
oh, that's her singing probably, right? But yeah, so far, if she is doing those ooh ooh and that other part, it's so minimal it does make you wonder why they brought her in. He's even backing himself up here. Oh, she's backing him up there.
Okay, you're in the background there.
Yep.
Nice.
All right. It's Glenn's. We'll call that a sexy interlude song.
Yeah, it's a very kind of like a chill ballad.
Yeah, after watching the kids all day and being a little under the weather and want to take a little nap. But what do you think? And who's Allison? I guess I don't know if maybe he had a girlfriend, Allison, at the time or something like that. But
Anyway, I'll give it a 3.
all right.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, it yeah, it didn't really go anywhere. It was kind of long. It probably could have been a little shorter, but I mean, I thought it was a pretty good listen. We sat there and we grooved along. Guitar solo was pretty good too. It kind of reminded me of like a kind of a like a Satriani style solo.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
like
that's a style of there's like one guitar player on this record, right?
there's two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that they're from what we've been hearing anyways, is like they've been playing in that kind of style anyways. So, um, if you told me this was like one of those guys or somebody that was kind of from that school of playing, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. All right, the next track up is
Did you rate it?
called Oh, I didn't. 3. I'm also giving it a 3.
I
I put it
was
in the
like, wait a minute.
spreadsheet and I didn't say anything.
I don't remember if you rated it.
Yes. So next track up is called Devil in You. I'm sorry. Wait. Yes. Devil in You. The MP3 is misnamed Devil on You.
That's interesting.
Pause.
Get him off! Get him off!
Oh, and I forgot to mention this is also the other Hughes Thrall track.
Ah.
There's something about this riff on the verse that's reminding me of something. I just can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, me too. And I can't, I don't know, I can't remember. Can't think of what it is making me think of.
It's funny you mentioned Satriani. This is making me think of something Satriani, like squares or something. Nice little organ. I don't know what they were using for an organ patch there, but it kind of was something that sounded like it was trying to be a little Hammond-esque.
Yeah, they didn't really work. Yeah, I didn't hear any.
Cut you out again. Zoom does not like it when we do Hammond impressions.
No.
Fade out there. All right. Well, that is Devil in You. John, what do you think of the Devil in You, the Devil on You?
Mm, um, I'm gonna give this a solid 2.
All right.
This was the other Hughes Thrall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these weren't on the album, right? These were like demos or
Yeah,
unreleased.
I guess they had released some demos of them later, but they
Oh,
never did like a proper recording of them.
yeah, there's a reason for that. No, it's
Well,
not, just wasn't that. eh, I don't know. I mean, I can't say it was bad. It's just it was not interesting.
hmm
That's the best way that I can put it. There was something about that riff too that reminded me of something, because that was the first thing that I thought, but it brought me back to something from around this era or earlier when I first started listening to music. There was some band, late 80s, early 90s, something that sounded like this. I don't know if it was the production or the riff or something, just that was a callback, and it kind of made me think of it. And I mean, it gave me a little bit of nostalgia, but I mean, obviously not enough for me to be like, oh, that was good. Like, I don't think it was particularly like a good or a bad riff. It made me think of something. So that was really the only point of interest for me of the song. Other than that, it was just kind of like, not a very strong melody or anything.
yeah, I'll give it a 2.5. I think there was nothing. I think that might have just been that there was nothing specific that it reminded me of,
Hmm.
but it did remind me of things I was listening to around that time, like,
Oh, maybe
um,
like oh, you know what? Wait, I just thought like maybe like Winger,
yeah, maybe.
because they
I don't know if I know
maybe
what you're
maybe the
talking about.
first Winger album, like the they might have
It
done
made me
something
think
like
of
that.
like Mike Keneally. Like he had an album called Hat around right around this time. I think it came out 92, 93, something like that.
Mm,
Nothing specific off that album, just kind of reminded me of that style. And there was just like a
mm,
lot of albums at that time that were, doing similar things like the Satriani stuff and stuff like that. It reminded me
yeah.
of something that would have been on one of those albums. But
Okay.
again, can't think of anything specific that it could have been. Um, but yeah, that wraps up the two Hughes Thrall tracks, and the next one up is a discarded trapeze track. This one is called Homeland, and
Discarded.
yeah, and which I think there is a version a trapeze version that they did release. At some point later on, it wasn't released by this point, I don't think, but here we go. This one's called Homeland. This is more coast to coast trapeze than Black Cloud trapeze.
Part of you, wherever I go. You're never far from me, no matter how far. Wherever I go, remember all those years. Someone good, you were there.
And this was written by Hughes and Galley.
By who?
Hughes and Galley.
Hughes and Galley. Okay.
Hard to imagine it in a trapeze setting the way it's being done here.
Yeah.
Now and then, something strikes like
Yeah, that chorus was very a big change, and then going back into this.
reminds me how far we are apart.
That keyboard sounds so much like a Nintendo.
Like,
the
I don't get
later
the Nintendo thing, but I wasn't as big a video game nerd as you, so
It actually sounds exactly like some of the Nintendo Wii games. And my kids have been playing them a lot lately, so that maybe that's why it's in my head. Sounds like me bowling. Yeah, we should have had the demos ready for a quick compare and contrast, but
Yeah, I just feel like there's too much slickness all over all this.
right.
I mean, especially if you're going to be doing trapeze stuff. I don't know, the way that I want to hear trapeze is like this.
Yeah.
If you're a business
Bass still there. Yeah, and I think we're seeing, again, I think we talked about this last week, but him trying to get on his feet again and find where he's at. Oh, there's my dog ruining the show. All right, that's Homeland. John, what do you give Homeland?
I'll give Homeland a solid 2.5.
All right.
I think it's just like another. I mean, it had a pretty catchy chorus, but overall, I just think another kind of not really a memorable song.
Yeah, I will agree with you on the 2.5. And let's listen to Trapeze doing this song live, and let's see what the difference is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how long ago was this?
Well, this is actually them doing it live in 1992,
Oh,
but it is.
Cause I just wanna go home. Cause I just wanna be back in West England town. Oh, cause I really love you.
That's
You
not
make it
much.
so sweet for me, girl. You make it so sweet for me, girl.
this could be any song.
Cause I wanna lay right down with you tonight. Yeah, baby.
Here we go.
Always take a part of you. Wherever I go, you're never far from me. No night
not terribly different, but it's got a.
Improves a little bit with the live performance.
Here where it gets to the heavy part too.
I'm so happy, so sad. Come on!
So I'm assuming this was written during their kind of brief reunion in the 90s.
What?
I'm assuming
It's
this
too
was-
loud. I can't
sorry.
hear you.
I'm assuming this was.
yeah.
I'll stop it. But I'm assuming this was written by their little brief reunion, because it doesn't sound like their 70s stuff.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But I'll have to say that there was a little bit of improvement with the live performance, the tempo, I'm assuming if it wasn't a drum machine or drum programming, like with no production on it, it sounds better.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
All
a
right.
little like that live energy behind it. So
So that takes us to the title track. After all this time, we're coming to the title track. Track
the
number 12.
the titular
The titular. Thank you. The titular From Now On. And I know this mostly from Burning Japan Live, so. It's interesting to have your title track as your last track on the album.
yeah, it's a choice.
Inside my head, you know I'd rather be with you and feel your touch. When I was lost, I knew you'd rescue me. I paid the cost, and now I finally say, and now I know that this was meant to be. It's all too much. Now I'm walking down the lonely road, and your face is all I see. I can't imagine that your love will come my way. I need shelter from the storm.
I can't remember if he does the. This is where I got on the live version his little thing that I put into the Hughes jingle. So.
I'll be stronger from now
And this is one of those songs that kind of. I think we've talked about this before. There's certain songs when you pair your Bluetooth on your car that it just goes to automatically by default.
Yeah.
Usually it's like something early in alphabetical order, but this is one of those songs where I feel like I've heard the beginning of it 1,000 times. Because my car would always be like, oh, I know what you want to listen to. And I'm like,
Yeah, this poppy-ass Glenn Hughes song.
this one, like, track in the middle of his live performance. I don't know why it would select this one. It's not first alphabetically.
every time. As I wander in the fields of home, as I see the light of day, I can't imagine that your love will come my way. I need shelter from the storm. I'll be stronger from now on. I need shelter from the storm. I'll be stronger from now on. I need shelter from the storm.
He does this pretty faithfully on Burning Japan.
Shelter from the storm. I'll be stronger from now on.
I like this song lyrically and musically. I dig it.
I mean, it's
But I think it's
Yeah,
all
it's a-
the whole album is very.
yeah. I mean, it's a good. It's not a bad chorus.
But the whole album does have like a light feeling to it.
Yeah, like a light rock.
And I think like when you look at some of his more recent stuff, I mean obviously it's 30 years later, but everything is so like so strong and powerful and in your face and brick wall compressed. And when you go listen to something like this, it's almost want to just kind of meet. And it's not just him. I mean, everybody's kind of doing music that way now. But for me, I would love to hear like a meeting in the middle somewhere between the kind of light trebly production on this and that, like, I mean, there's like I'm thinking of like the latest, like the Dead Daisy albums where it just like it's there's a lot of songs on there that I really like, but man, it's like it's just like an all-out audio onslaught. It can get a little fatiguing, and it's not like I said, that's just production these days. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's From Now On. John, where you rank that one?
I'll give it a 2.5.
All right, you've been pretty consistent.
Yeah, I mean that's middle of the road. I think for most of these 2.5s, it's like the chorus. I mean, it has a really good like a chorus melody, and that's the thing is like I feel like a lot of these songs they have like catchy chorus, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, not too fond of the album thus far.
All right. Well, we've only got 2 Deep Purple tracks to close it out, but I will give it a 3.5. I do like that track. It's one of my favorites on the album. But yeah, we're gonna have 2 Deep Purple tracks, and I've purposefully not listened to these just to make sure that keeping it fresh, because they are not on the copy that I have. I think both of them are bonus tracks, and I can't remember which they come from, but I think the Burn comes from the Japanese release, and then Burn and You Keep on Moving were on the US release, or vice versa. I don't remember. Don't correct me. It doesn't matter. So let's start with Burn and see, does he put a different spin on it? Does it sound like everything else on the album? Is it going to sound like Deep Purple or something in between? Let's check it out. And these were recorded at a different time with different musicians in a different studio, I believe. So
Oh
we
boy.
might have something different on our hands. So here we go. Here's Burn.
Yeah, already you could tell it's not it's not even like the same studio or anything.
Ian Hoglan on drums, who was in Europe and also Baltimore. And I believe Glenn is on bass on these, but I could be
A
wrong.
good guitar tone there. Or maybe not the tone. The tone is still a little buzzy, but it's like a good sound. Like it's got a good like kind of reverb to it. Well, this part like is really replicated it really well from the Burn album.
Yeah, he doesn't do that.
Well, we don't know yet. He hasn't gotten there yet.
Well, he might do it later.
Saying he sings it pretty faithfully to how he did on the record, the original.
Yep. Yeah. So in the liner notes it says, Glenn Hughes composes and performs on Landola, the finest acoustic guitars in the world, uses Dean Markley strings, and wears Rocco Baracco leather and hot tuna clothing.
Of course.
Hot tuna. So I guess if this is accurate to the guitarists, it's both guitarists playing at this point and trading off those solos. That was pretty cool. That was a little different, little twist on it. I like that.
Yeah.
Does Thomas Larson and Eric Boyfelt use ESP guitars, Dean Markley strings, and gay whore amplifiers?
Gay whore?
Spelled exactly like you would think, or you would not think, I guess. G-A-Y-W-H-O-R-E, gay whore amplifier. Oh, there we go. I don't think I've ever heard of that amplifier.
Yeah, you want to look that up?
Yep. I'm looking.
I know a few gay whores, and they're pretty loud.
They don't need to be amplified.
They are their amplifiers.
It's a Marshall. It's a kind of Marshall amplifier.
Interesting.
I found something that appears to be in Swedish, so I can't. I have to send it to Jonathan and see if he can tell us what they're talking about. I did find something called a butt kicker power amplifier. Yeah, gay whore preamp. And it says there's this guy in Sweden called Thomas Larson, who's the guy who plays guitar in this. He's pretty famous for playing with Glenn Hughes in Baltimore. He also modified his guitar amp, and he has this called a gay whore amplifier.
Okay. Still very, very curious.
Yeah, there's a
Name for
image.
that.
They've got a little logo too. Doesn't look like a gay whore. He looks like somebody from Dilbert.
Dilbert.
It does look at the little guy that's the.
It just says whore.
It just says gay whore on it. See? Maybe
Wow.
it means something else in Swedish. We'll have to ask. All right. Well, pretty energetic version of Burn, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's really asking for anybody to redo Burn, but
That hasn't stopped people from
No.
doing it left and right.
it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's a fucking great song.
Between Ritchie and Whitesnake and Glenn Hughes. What would you rank that one?
Oh boy, that's trying to think. That's tough because I like the song.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be artificially inflated because we are very familiar with the song and we love it. So,
Yeah, but I mean, there's also like a crappy version of it. But you know what I mean? If there's a crappy version of a great song, then you're not going to give it a good rating. So, um, I don't know. My gut's telling me to give it a 4.
hey, that's what my gut was saying.
So I'll give it a 4. I mean, it wasn't it was refreshing after everything else. Because
Yeah, well,
that's what I want to hear. I mean, the riff was played well. Hughes didn't do too much crazy stuff outside of um what the original was, and he handled, as usual, handles the Coverdale parts pretty well.
and it has a timbre and production that's absent on the rest of the album.
Hmm.
And I do like that what you pointed out, which is that he kept it faithful to the record. Whereas even as early on as like California Jam, he was already going like nuts on it,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I also don't mind. But because I think California Jam was the first time I ever heard that song. So I have a fondness for it, but I like that he went for that very like smooth. It sounds like almost processed vocals. Sounds like he's double tracking it. The harmonies sound really good. So and the drumming was really, I didn't really talk about it during the song, but he did a really fantastic job of doing that. And that's not always it's a tough song to do because Pacey is out of control on that whole song.
Yeah.
It's hard to emulate, but I think he did a really good job with it. Which leads us to our last track on the album, and that is "You Keep On Moving." Well, this one's got a little bit of
Oh,
this one sounds like it could be on the album. So yeah, this one's 6.5 minutes because obviously we're seeing this this intro. Yeah, I think having the guitar kind of noodling around on the intro does not serve it well. I love how mellow the original is.
yeah. Yeah, this is just like stretching it out for no reason.
Yeah, that was almost 2 minutes. Is he singing with himself there?
Maybe.
Sounds like somebody else.
Yeah, maybe he is singing with himself.
If it is, it definitely has a different sound to it. good movement there.
Keep it faithful to Lord's original parts.
Yeah. I was kind of looking for him to do the. Yeah, and I think I'm trying to remove myself from these two songs because obviously we know them and love them. But it does sound like the production has more oomph to it on these two than the previous 12. As far as just things seem a little more up front. Maybe it's just the style they went with because they were recording more hard rock songs. Or maybe they were trying to emulate Deep Purple a little bit more on these, but because I think there's some really good songs in the rest of the album that just don't benefit from the softer production. Original version of the song is for track length. .5:19, so it's only a minute longer.
Oh, so that inflated intro kind of.
Yeah, the intro went about minute 45, so they must have shortened it up somewhere else to, or maybe the fade out or this ending part's not as long as on the original. All right. You keep on moving. John, what do you think about that one?
Well, this one's tough. It is tough to remove yourself from the original, isn't it? I'll give it a 3.5.
All right.
I love this song.
Yeah.
I think they did a pretty decent job with it. I think like the intro and a couple of little things here and there kind of brought it down a little bit for me, but all in all, like a pleasant version. I don't know if I'd listen to these two ones again just because the originals exist, but
I mean, yeah, it's always hard to top an original when you're redoing a song like this. And
yeah.
you're not, he didn't change much up from either enough to make it super compelling.
All right,
in
like
any other
like
way, so.
if you got like Gillan doing Child in Time from
Yeah.
the Gillan solo album in what was it, 76, that's a
Yeah.
different story, right?
That's a
Because
great example, yeah.
yeah, because he changed it enough. He kind of kept the same kind of thing. He did something a little bit different with it, but he kind of kept the same vibe to it, and he was still performing it like really well.
Mhm.
Like yeah, production, like his performance, everything. It was different, but it was like, wow, all right. So now I have like two versions that I could go listen to. I
Yep.
mean, these were for more or less pretty faithful to the original. So it's like, all right, why would I need to listen to this?
Yeah, and I think the the intro of like the noodling guitar on top of the bass for me, um it wasn't great. Like what I really, I guess the thing is, if you're gonna stick this close to the original, just stick close to the original. And
Yeah.
what I really love about the original is that after this, really one of the heaviest, in my opinion, Deep Purple songs they ever did, goes into this really doom 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 doom, this really
Right.
mellow, slow, and deliberate building song. And here you've got the same thing, but you've got just guitar noodling over it, which I just don't think adds anything to it or is necessary. Um, but yeah, I give it a 3.5 as well. I think it's, if it wasn't for the intro, I'd probably give it a 4. And both, you know, apart from the intro here and the other one, and very great faithful reproductions of the original. I love in Burn actually how they kind of changed it up a little bit and added something a little bit additional with those two guitars playing that sounded really, really cool. That wasn't in the original. And then You Keep on Moving, I mean, he kept the organ was doing its own thing, but it really kept the Lord's feel, which I really liked. So yeah, that's from now on. And while John fumbles with the spreadsheet, I will thank our next level of patrons. So if I can get this open here, at the core level, coming in at the $7.77 Keep It Warm Rat tier, we have none other than Michael Vader. At the $6.99 new nice price tier, we have Spike the Rock Cat and Sugar Tea. Then at the episode $6.66 tier, we have Steve Coldwell and Arthur Smith.
Getting support from the patron Arthur Smith.
Anton Glaving and Charles Meadows. At the $6.65 Almost Evil tier, we have Kenny Wymore and Richie Sucksmith. At the $6 What's Going On Here tier, we have Richard Fusey. At the $5.99 The Nice Price tier, we have Robert Smith and Carl Hellberg. And at the 60 kroner Scandinavian Nights tier, we have Newt Morton Johansson.
It's a great life if you know we can. It's a
At the $5 Moneylender tier, we have John Convery, German Heidel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Elman, Alexi the Perfect Stranger Slepikoff, Kev Roberts, Percival Frequency, Scott Zern, Cynthia Doobie, Raf Calf, and none other than Coyote Bongwater. Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. All right, well, you know what time it is. It is time to bust out the spreadsheets.
Well, John's busting out the spreadsheets, and he's fumbling with the tabs. Oops, he sorted it the wrong way. Now he can't tell what is bad.
All right, John.
The
know
Merms
what rhymes-
version.
You know what rhymes with tabs?
Merms? I don't know.
Babs. She should get, when she was belting it out with Babs on that show
Oh,
that we
yeah.
watched.
That's
Oh,
right.
maybe there's gonna be an ninth version of that song.
All right. So there's nothing to fumble with because I went back and there's no ratings in it.
All right.
So you have to fumble.
Well, John's busting out the spreadsheets,
Let me see if I can fumble
and he's
with it.
fumbling with the
All right,
tabs.
here we go.
He sorted it
Oh, I see
the
what
wrong way.
Yeah, see?
I see what
Now
I did.
he can't tell what is bad.
All right. Something is still not working here.
Yes, this happens to me sometimes, and then you're in the middle of reading the patrons, and I can't
You can't. Yeah,
I can't tell you to fix it.
it's too late. Yeah. Let's see here. Huh. I wonder why. That's weird. I wonder why it's not. Yeah, it's not working. We're all fumbling with the spreadsheet today. You know what? In desperation, I'm going to do this. Let's see here. And a lot of these formulas I put in, it might be a problem that the formula it doesn't go down far enough. Let's and yeah, you know what? I think that's what it is.
What?
The formula, I put it to like, wait, no, that does go down far enough.
Well, this is a pickle scratcher.
Yes, this is a pickle scratcher.
Is that even a word? Is that even a phrase? I don't know.
It is now. I don't know. Do you call your head your pickle? Call something else a pickle.
Or is it a noodle scratcher? Yeah, it's a noodle or melon scratcher. All right, so I made it moderately filthy.
I wonder if it's the, let's see. Oh, wait, what the heck did that just do? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know what the issue is with this. Huh.
All right, folks, no ratings for tonight. I could manually add them up.
Yeah, I guess we could manually add it up.
No,
because
who
I'm
wants to
looking
do
at
that?
to see if the formula goes down far enough. 125. Oh wait, is that the problem?
You're gonna you're gonna have to edit this. Nobody wants to hear dead air while you're like, is this it? No. How about this?
How
Is
about
this it?
this?
Is this
How about
it?
this? Oh, you know what?
No, I don't know what. Otherwise, I would have fixed it myself.
I might have. It might mean that some of the other album rankings are unreliable, but let's see. Does this work? Aha!
Unreliable. John actually liked who do we think we are? Who do
Yeah,
they think
exactly.
they are? Who do they think they are?
It's not tabulating up the number of for some reason it's not tabulating up the number of oh, I see. Oh wait, you messed it up. Okay, no, I'll
No, I
fix it
didn't.
later. That doesn't matter. Okay, folks, we're back. Technical difficulties. So John, where let's
Well, John's boss.
no, I'm just kidding. Okay, where does
A false start?
where does from now on rank in our overall album rankings?
Toward the bottom.
Wow.
5.96.
right.
I liked it less than you, Dur. It's actually it's down there with Not of This Earth, Satriani, bunch of Nick Simper stuff.
Book of Taliesin.
Yeah, Rainbow. The concerto, which that was a difficult ranking, but
Well, yeah, we think we just we probably if we did that episode now instead of what, in episode 7 or whenever we did it,
yeah,
we would not have ranked it at all, because we just kind of agreed when we talked about it. We're just giving everything a 3 because it's hard to, they're not songs the way that these are songs, so
right.
it's
But it's
not really a fair ranking.
From now on is about 12 from like the bottom, so it did not rank very well, and I would agree with it. I'm looking at pretty much all of these albums down here, and I don't think I would listen to any of these again.
Yeah, and I think as we get into Hughes's the next few albums where he's really starting to find his footing after coming back, you'll see some differences. But yeah, we ranked the LA Blues Authority one a little higher than this one, and I would agree with that. I think that's that one I would go back to.
Oh, that was funny because when we were at the show the other night, and I can't remember what happened, but Gardeau leaned over and he yelled out that the New Hampshire Blues Authority was in the house that night.
Yes.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I hope Glenn Hughes and his band had all their papers in order for the inspection.
Hey, Gardeau could have gone up there. I mean, he's a pool inspector, so he could be
with his suit on and just be like, "All right, guys, I'm just gonna have to go through some of your
inspector.
papers. Could you pull a week's worth of paperwork so I could look at it, and then we'll get started with the inspection."
He's got a little, he's got the flashlight. He was wearing his pocket protector that night.
The Gardeau?
Yeah.
Oh, probably so he could put his Sharpie in there for signing coasters.
Yep,
I
which we
can see him
did.
looking with his flashlight, like looking at like into the bass drum. Like, all right, this all seems to check out.
But yeah, the Blues Authority did not. No, I think no authority stamped this album with anything. Outside of like a moderately cool album cover, like there's not really a lot that I would say is memorable on this album. It was just kind of a mess. It was just all over the place. Would not recommend.
Do not recommend.
No, no, and
All right.
I hate to say that. I mean, Glenn, God bless him, he tried, but you know, wasn't his best effort.
Yeah. Well, again, I think just the way it was produced, the way it was just a bunch of songs he wrote with his current guys, and then a couple of Thrall songs, a couple of or a trapeze song, a couple of purple songs. Yeah, I think
Yeah, it was a hodgepodge.
yeah, it was a hodgepodge, and he went into that knowing it. But um, do have actually a couple of uh reviews which were not easy to find, but one of them is from Deep Purple Appreciation Society. One of them is an announcement of the album, which I won't read, and then there's this, which is the review. It says, um, I'm a little perplexed and slightly confused as to the mishmash of styles, suggesting that the tracks
Hmm.
were written over a long period of time. I expected more of a strident, hard-hitting funk metal album, something like Living Color or Chili Peppers, and I'm surprised he played no bass on the album. As with Blues last year, the vocals stand out as the highlight of the album. The really important thing is that Glenn is back and singing well. Walking on Water is my favorite. I think that was my favorite too. Funk metal as only GH can do it. A basic groove with deft touches of rock guitar and great bass variations. And that's by Roy Davies or Davis. Um, Someone goes on, I don't know if it's him that goes on, but says the album does cover a wide range of styles and is much better than the LA Blues set. Here we go from purple stompers like Picking Up the Pieces, the keyboards especially, to the bluesier based Brit rock as on Lay My Body Down. That says little here really begins to break new ground, but perhaps that wasn't the intention. It's more of a reaffirmation of Glenn's return to the fray. Walking on Water and The Liar both hold out some promise. The former is interesting both lyrically and in its musical structure. Lots of varying time shades, though these perhaps show up certain weaknesses in the drum department. While the sampled keyboards on the latter are a bit out of the ordinary, and the ending where Glenn's working with the guitarist might have been worth making rather more of, as someone else said of the new take of Burn, why fix something that ain't broken? So there you go. That's that. And then there was a I don't seem to have it here. There was something from the maybe I can just pull it up here. So there is this oh, you know why? It's on the other file. That's why. Here we go. There is the Coast to Coast magazine issue number 2, which you can get off of glenhughes.com. There's a little bit of a write up from who is it? Bill Jones for the news group. So he writes. He actually writes quite a bit, so maybe I'll just put it in the put it in the show notes. But at the end of his review, he says, "Can't blame them for trying a new approach, but gun to my head, I'd have to say that I prefer the original Tommy Volin version of You Keep on Moving." Um, but Glenn survives on his own just fine. The crowd gets into the act during the reprise of the verse. Oh wait, that I think he's talking about. He might be talking about burning Japan alive at that point. All right, never mind. I don't know my act together, so I'll just put a link to it in the show notes. But those Coast to Coast magazines are pretty cool on glenhughes.com. You can check them out, and they've got reviews and stuff about what Glenn was doing. And these things are mostly from the mid '90s, so you'll get a sense of where he was at that time. So yeah, I think before we wrap it up, I will go on to our next round of patrons to thank them before we close out the episode. And that is, of course, the foundation level tier coming in at the £3.50 Deep Purple New York tier. We have Lord Longford. There we go. It always takes me a little. Hopefully, with the new computer, the processing power will be faster. Of course, it's my brain's processing power that is in question. At the £3 aromatic feed tier, we have Simon Ford and Richard Brees. At the $3.33 halfway to evil tier, Stephen Sharp and Duncan Leask. And at the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, we have Peter Gardeau, Ian DeRosier, Mark Rubeck. John's frog impression looks a lot like a bunny rabbit.
Well, I don't know what to do. I was like,
she's done this like a bulging, the bulging neck.
Thank you.
Stuart McCord. Then we have
Fly to the right.
Ivan Fjeldbu.
It's a great life if you know we can.
Runar Simonson.
It's a great life if you know we can.
JJ Stenard. Ruinous Inadequacies. John Maselli.
Now, Tate is gone. Tate is history. Tate is toast. It ain't gonna happen.
Was he saying taint?
Tate. T-A-T-E.
He's just like, taint is history. Like, oh, Tony.
No. So, yeah, Samantha was trying to get into a college named Tate, and he was very against her wanting to get into that college.
Okay.
He's being such a jerk about it. I can't remember, but okay. Michael Boyette, Corey Morissette, and Ashley. At the $1.71 I want my own tier, we have none other than
Rich, Yangui, Shaylor. Who the hell is that?
At the 10 kroner tier, Karsten Lau. And at the $1 made-up name tier, we have the, I guess the You Keep On Leaky Mausoleum. Stephen Somerville, Concerto 1999 Fanatic. Hank the Tank, Private Eyes. Ashen Lionel.
Blackmore tights.
Steve Down to Earth Kohler, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, Anders Engstrom, ICDC, Derple Purple, and Purple Swede.
Sweet.
Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. All right, John, we did it. This actually gets me very excited about the future Hughes albums, because I feel like there's a pretty big improvement as we go into the later albums of the 90s as he finds his footing. So
yeah, and I mean, I'm not I'm not really familiar with them, so I will discover them with you.
Yes, and I'm not so his next album is Feel, which was a year later, and then Addiction the year after that. So I think both of those albums are, as I remember them, a little strong, but again, not albums I've listened to a million times. My favorite Glenn Hughes solo album is a long ways away. So we'll get to it, I guess, when we get to it. But and I won't give away my what it is. But
we got nothing but time, folks.
Yep, and nothing but a lot of other side projects too. So all right, well, John, is that it? Should we pack it up? Should we keep on moving?
Yep. From now on, let's keep on moving. And
there we go.
We'll see you next week, because what is it going to be? Who knows? Nobody knows. Okay, let's get out of here.
All right, see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple Podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also leave us a review in Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.